Introduction to Buddhist Science by Venerable Rungruang Papatsaro. With advances in modern science, the abstract descriptions of the Buddha's words can be clearly demonstrated and explained in terms of the laws of nature. In the world of science there is no self, and all phenomena are just a dynamic system of nature called Dharma, which can be observed as process and state. At a particular instance nature holds a certain state, and then there is a process that changes nature from one state to another state by certain causes and effects. This is a system of nature which is impermanent, as explained in the uncertainty principle in quantum physics. Subparticles and energy are exchanging in the QED quantum electrodynamics theory, the rhythm of changing consciousness in thalamic oscillation, deteriorating as explained in the second law of thermodynamic, and no self as explained by the law of nature, not being controlled by any wishing or miracles. Then by studying the mind operating system on how the mind process step by step as described in the process of dependent origination. The enlightenment of the process of dependent origination is very significant because it leads to the discovery that a life is a natural process as explained in the process of dependent origination. A life is not controlled by any self, who just wishes or makes any things happen by miracle. Therefore, the conventional beliefs that life is embodied by something called a self and all beings are controlled by a super self, are not quite correct. And this is the definition of no self in the context of Buddhism. In addition, we can analyze and find the origination of defilements, and then we can learn on how to eliminate all arising defilements or mental errors within the mind processing called the defilement elimination by wisdom. The convergence of Buddhism and science is very significant, thus the development of Buddhist science will unite both the spiritual world and the material world. Gratefully, all the Buddha's teachings about the nature of mental phenomena and mind processing, as well as details about the problem of the mind during the processing and how to respond to the world with empathy, kindness, sympathy, compassion, and so on, have kept passing from generation to generation, and with the progress of recent scientific studies of the brain, many new discoveries begin to reveal the truths of the mind which reflect what the Buddha explained 2,500 years ago, little by little, resulting in an astonishing convergence of Buddhism and science from which we can gain a better understanding of the Buddha's teachings profoundly, and at the same time we are able to understand the truths of life within nature correctly. The Buddha's teachings all refer to the truths of life within nature. Thus, Buddhist science is a seamless systematic study based on facts and science. Although beliefs and faith may be useful in the beginning in general religions, but reaching the final stage of wisdom development is purely a matter of facts and science that lead to cognitive development. And as a matter of fact, if you are interested in nature, especially in the nature of how the mind and life work, then the Buddhist science knowledge will be interesting common knowledge for anyone of any religious background. Buddhist science has no intention to convert anyone's religion, but to share the knowledge together to have a better understanding of each other. As a matter of fact, Buddha was a human being, therefore anyone who wants to accomplish the goals of Buddhism should more or less follow the Buddha's way. After the Buddha's enlightenment, the Buddha shared both his discoveries and experiences with the public to contemplate the truths of life within nature in his enlightenment, and this was the beginning of Buddhism. The Buddha explained that
all of my teachings are about the truths of nature. I do not create anything, I just tell something that do already exist in nature.
So the knowledge of Buddhism is not owned by anyone, even by the Buddha, and everyone can learn, understand, and make use of it without any restrictions and conditions. The goal of Buddhism is to overcome all the man-made disasters and to bring peace to the world. However, the problem must be resolved at the individual level first, then extending the merits to others and the world. That is, when an individual receives stimulus from the world, the individual will develop the purified mind, and the purified mind will be developed into a mind with empathy, kindness, sympathy, compassions, and so on. In order to respond to the world rightly in accord to the truths of life within the nature. In Buddhism, the Buddha explained that faith may be beneficial at the beginning, then he encouraged that everyone to search for the truths of life within nature and to experience the truths directly, and then realizing right from wrong through the learning experiences. No one should just blindly believe and follow the instructions of anyone else. In addition, the Buddha explained that in order to gain wisdom, he had no magical power to bless anyone to have wisdom, he only could teach others how to develop the mind, but each individual had to put effort into learning the truths of life within nature. In Buddhism, the Buddha explained that faith may be beneficial at the beginning, then he encouraged that everyone should search for the truths of life within nature and experiencing the truths directly, and then realizing that was right or wrong through the learning experiences. Everyone should not just blindly believing and following in the instructions of anyone else. In addition, the Buddha explained that in order to gaining wisdom, he had no magical power to bless anyone to have wisdom, he only can teach on how to develop the mind, but an individual had to put effort on learning the truths of life within the nature. The origination of Buddhism about 2,600 years ago was a very important event because it was the first time that we had such a religion that was based on facts and science. I hope that the Buddhist science will torch you the light for having a better insight understanding of life and the world, and complementarily guiding you along an interesting journey in searching for the meaning of life. The future of mankind will be determined by what we can learn from the truths of life correctly, and hopefully we can collectively bring peace to the world.